couple interesting things. Well, actually, one major, I guess, niche that's been overlooked, but I think they have a chance. You know, we'll see. Altcoin season isn't here yet, but when altcoin season does come here, we could see a massive turnaround. And what niche am I talking about? Metaverses, right? Look at this. McDonald's, they're coming out with their own metaverse in Singapore. They're going to call it My Happy Place. You can make so many jokes about that. Anyways, My Happy Place metaverse. Letting locals build virtual burgers, play multiple games, and earn rewards. Okay, so obviously, a lot of brands and companies, they're not going to give up on this. There is still something to it. It's just right now, it doesn't seem like it's very hot. But back in 2021, metaverses were blowing up like crazy, right? And I think there's still a good chance that they will, because they're still big powerhouses, especially the ones that are still building in crypto. This was just a couple days ago. Sandbox, which is one of the biggest metaverse plays in the crypto space, they just raised $20 million. $20 million. Okay, so that means obviously they're still moving forward and building, right? And Sandbox is a game that I did play briefly once in 2021. And it's more or less like a crypto Minecraft, sort of, but you could build out your land, your virtual land, and there's already custom lands, and there's missions that you can do. And more importantly, you own everything, right? Everything that's involved, like, for example, the land or the items that you have, they're all NFTs. And a lot of brands do utilize the map and use it as an advertisement board, basically. You could see all the different companies that have land ownership, right? And you can zoom in and explore their land and see what's going on with them, right? So that's kind of a unique thing when it comes to metaverses inside crypto. You own it. Once you have the land, it's yours. No one else could take it away from you, right? And anything in the land, it's all yours. You get to own it, right? So something like Sandbox, I would say they're pretty darn big. They're still over $1 billion in market cap. They got new funding. They're backed by Animoca Brands, so they could definitely make a comeback this cycle when altcoin season hits. Now, another example of a metaverse, and I know most of you guys do not like Cardano, but I gotta mention this anyways. Oh, and by the way, Cardano's Clay Nation is like one of the most popular NFT collections. Is also partnered up with Sandbox, right? So you kind of got that collaboration. But for Cardano fans, there is a metaverse that is being developed right now called Cornucopias, okay? And this has been hyped up since 2021. So they're actually not just exclusive on Cardano now, but they are using Unreal Engine. They're trying to build out a huge MMO like game, right? That they're still working on this. They're still working on this. But this does bring some excitement to Cardano, because a lot of people say, well, there's nothing going on Cardano. And Charles Hoskinson even recently said, he hates crypto media because everyone's like bashing Cardano, saying nothing's being done and stuff. Well, I mean, here's something fun, right? Besides all the partnership with Africa and Argentina and everything, some retail players or retail investors, they want to have some fun. Maybe degen into a little memes, maybe play a little game here and there, right? So there are companies still building. And I'm bringing them up because I have covered them before. And also, I met the guys. Where is that? I had it here, right? During Consensus, I believe the two founders, saw me, sat me down and made me play their game here. They have a mini game. It's a racing game. It actually looked pretty good. I did horrible with it. But their strategy is to build mini games and wait for the full development of the game to be released, right? But again, pretty good followers. I mean, that's another example of a metaverse being built out, right? Kind of a game metaverse. And you know what? Maybe when it's done, it'll bring some excitement to to Cardano, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. If you want to comment on anything I've said in this video, make sure you head over to the Roundtable. The Roundtable is a new social media platform created for conversations. And best of all, it's spam-free, bot-free, unlike here on YouTube. And you could have conversations with me and others like Altcoin Daily, Scott Melker, Mauro Nafal, and many others are joining daily. And you also get rewarded in tokens for doing so. So check out the new Roundtable. Click the link in the description below. And the last example is something new, but I saw them at Consensus as well. In fact, at the airport, I saw them already being advertised, Somnia, which is also a metaverse play, but they're not just like a game. They're not like Sandbox or Cornucopias. They're trying to be a L1, kind of like a overall layer to all metaverses. And this is kind of interesting because they want to partner up with the likes of Sandbox and Cornucopias and Illuvium and everyone else that's building out a metaverse, because ultimately they are just like a gateway. They're like a browser, right? So they're a little bit different. They even have a metaverse browser. So they're partnering up with everyone and trying to get them on board so that users can go to a place and say, hey, I like to play in this metaverse, or I like to discover this metaverse or this metaverse. So it's kind of an interesting concept. They're a complete L1 that is focused on just embracing the metaverses from the other chains, basic interoperability, right? And how this relates to something that I have is Yuga Labs too. A lot of Yuga Labs people, like Bored Ape people and other side people, or holders I should say, because I do have some other side NFTs. Yuga Labs also recently partnered up with these guys because, again, because of this interoperability. So for me, like for example, I hold other side NFTs. I'm waiting for this other side metaverse game to come out from Yuga Labs, which seems like it's never going to be done. But when it is done, you'll be able to interact and utilize your Bored Apes or your Kodas or your Cyberpunks, right? Within the metaverse games, within Somnia. So they're kind of bridging that gap. And hopefully when the other side metaverse game is out, it'll also be there that people can discover, right? So they are forming some big partnerships. So it's an interesting project that kind of relates, sort of, but trying to bridge everything together. Right. All right. That's pretty much it in terms of metaverses. Again, I think right now metaverses are not very hot, but when altcoin season comes, when games get hot again, right? I think metaverses have a good chance of getting hot once again. And I know a lot of you guys do hold a lot of metaverse plays from 2021. But you know what? Surprisingly, the GameStop Memecoin is actually holding relatively well. I thought after that stream this would just crash to zero, but it did crash, but it's holding around 98 million. So, you know, at least the meme coin is doing somewhat okay, because I really thought it would just like crash to zero after that performance. But, you know, we'll see next week. We'll see. Maybe he has something up his sleeve, right? Maybe. Who knows?